Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh my God. Oh. This movie. You know, I was worried when I decided I was going to go see this film because I've never read the book. I've only seen several of the other film incarnations of this story. And I have my opinions about those. And again, having read the source material. But I was concerned that I wasn't going to give this movie a fair shake. Because while I believe that a good movie can reach anyone, I also know that there is such a thing as a film being made for a specific audience. Now, I don't believe that I could not enjoy a film of Little Women because I'm a man. I think I could. I fairly enjoyed the Winona Ryder one from way back in the day. It's more that I didn't know if I was going to be able to enjoy this film because I'm a cynical person. And Little Women has always just been a little too syrupy. At least the productions I've seen of it. It's always been just a little too goody, sweetie. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I am a little too cynical of a person to really be able to get into something like that. So anyway, I was very worried that I wasn't going to be able to give this movie the full chance, and be fair. However, I am happy to say that fear has been laid to rest, because just as a well-made film can transcend anything that might be distant to an audience, or might be anything that might prevent an audience member from understanding it or fully grasping the full weight of it. Just as a great movie can transcend all of those obstacles, a truly shitty movie is a truly shitty movie, and it don't matter who you are watching, it is shit. And let me tell you something, folks, this movie is shit. This is one of the worst movies I have seen all year, and I have seen some terrible movies this year. Just awful. And this one just shoots right to the top of that list. I'm not going to say it's the worst movie I've seen every year, or this year, but I'm going to say it's pretty bad. This movie is so god-awful. I am gonna steal a line from the movie here, because that's the best way to give a negative critique. Joe, our heroine, our protagonist, keeps saying, I, Joe Marsh, am going to be a writer, and I'm going to do all the things. Well, folks, this movie gets all the things fucking wrong. Everything about this movie is atrocious and just laugh out loud bad. The only reason this is not the worst movie I've seen all year is it is not like horrifying, ripping my hair out bad. It is laugh out loud incompetent bad. Okay? Everything about it. Let's try to break this shit show down for you folks. First of all, while I know from the various other incarnations of the film that I have seen, that Joe is supposed to be our point of view character. She is our main character, and the other sisters are kind of there to more aid in telling her story than to have real stories of their own. At least that's what, again, I don't know how the book is, but I'm saying that from the films I've seen, I understand that's the case. But this movie hacks the other sisters pretty much to the bone. You get next to no time with them. It's all Joe. And I'm comparing this mainly to the Winona Ryder version, where, yes, even though Winona Ryder's Jo was the main character, the other sisters had character arcs and had stories, and, you know, you followed them through their lives and got to see kind of how things happened. But no, this one is all about how it affects Jo and how it, you know, how she reacts to their lives, how their lives, sorry about that, Mr. Chirpy, how their lives affect her. So everything is about how it affects Jo. How does, you know, oh shit, I can't remember the other, Meg. How does Meg getting married, how does that affect Jo? Beth getting sick, how does that affect Jo? You know, Amy hurting herself, how does that affect Jo? It's all about Jo. Everything is about Jo. Now, here's the thing. Here's the topper on that. That would not be necessarily a problem if the Jo in this movie wasn't a 100% bitch. She is one of the most unlikable protagonists in a film I have seen in a very long time. And I can't sugarcoat this in any way, shape, or form. She is a bitch to everyone about everything. And it starts off small. You know, well, the first scene we see with her, see, in this version, she wants to write some huge Lord of the Rings like epic. That's the story she's trying to write. So one of the first scenes we see is her pitching this story to a bunch, I guess, editors or something, and they give her critiques, and she takes it like a fucking 2-year-old. Okay, not so bad, because that's how we're trained to take critiques now. Trust me, I know, having given teenage actors critiques and the way they take it. But, you know, so she is supposedly supposed to be almost 30, which, if that actress is close to 30, I'm still in my fucking 20s. Now watch me go and, like, look her up and find out that she actually is 30. You know, but she looks 12 throughout the entire fucking movie. And she acts like a 12-year-old. Everything she does is about drawing attention to her. Beth gets sick, and Jo goes running out of the hospital room, smashing things and breaking things, and then coming back going, oh, I decided to be brave for you, and I shaved my head, because it's all about her. The moment is all about her. When Meg goes to get married, Jo reams her. You know, how dare you give your life to a man? How horrible! How dare you give up all your potential? Keep in mind, we have never seen potential out of Meg. All we're ever told about Meg, all anybody obsesses about Meg, is how pretty she is. Again, I don't know if that's how it is in the book. So we don't know what Meg's actual potential is. She gets no shots of her only character stuff she gets is that she wanted to be popular, and she goes to a party and everybody's mean to her, and, you know, some guy tries to grope her, and, you know, she doesn't like it. So we don't actually know what her interests, what her passions are. All we know is that she wanted to be popular. The scene where Jo and Amy get into a fight and Amy burns her journal. Fucking Jo started it. She tells the kid, she and the new Lori, you know, we'll get to that guy in a minute, you know, are going to go to the movies, and little Amy's going, can I come? And Jo, unprovoked, now I understand, again, I don't have siblings, but I understand that younger siblings are annoying. I get that. But Jo, unprovoked, says, no, I don't want you there, and Lonnie doesn't want you there, nobody wants you there, nobody wants you anywhere. You know, she comes back from the movie and goes right back at it, just reaming this poor girl, and then it's somehow a tragedy to Jo when Amy retaliates by burning her fucking journal. It's like she fucking started it. I am fully in support of Amy doing this. And that is the thing. Our Jo, who we spend the entire movie with, the entire thing is seen through her eyes. She is one of the worst, most unlikable characters I have seen in God knows how long. I mean, unbelievable. And I am sorry, I'm going to be mean here. I'm going to be really mean here. And I understand that this young lady who is playing this part, whose name I don't know, the cast is a veritable who's that of Hollywood. I mean, with the exception of Leah Thompson, I've never heard of anybody in this fucking movie, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Newcomers and unknowns can sometimes do great things. Not this cast. All right? I'm sorry, and again, I'm going to be mean here. The girl playing Jo is just awful. Just awful. Jo's bitchiness is compounded a million times by this girl's awful, awful acting. It is just, and in a way I feel bad saying this, because this young lady could be, just starting out, and it's your first movie, it's your first lead. I don't know if it is or not. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that what they're trying to do is easy by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm sorry, she's bad in this. She is very, very bad in this. All right? I can't think of anybody who's really good in this. Nobody is good. I will give credit to the young lady playing Beth, which, again, Beth is one of those characters in all the incarnations of this film that just fucking annoys me. All right? Because Beth is not a character. Beth is one of the biggest cliches ever. And admittingly, she was one of the first because, of course, this was written well back. But, Beth is the good, loving, everything is wonderful, and she's so full of beauty and life, but of course she's dying. Oh, but she's not sad about that. No, she's going to impart wisdom and worldly advice. Again, we don't know anything really about Beth in this. We find out that she likes playing piano when she goes into the solarium, of course, of Lonnie's grandfather, and starts to play. And Lonnie's grandfather, who, again, I'm sure the gentleman playing him is very nice, but the guy looked just creepy as fuck. Comes in there, don't you know it's rude to come in and play someone else's piano and not finish? And I think you should sit right there and finish playing. It's like, ah! Yeah. And they do this little montage of her playing, and the guy's like leaning over the piano, smiling at it. It's like, no, have him sitting off in a chair and listening. No, he's leaning over. It's like, and that's another thing. Oh my God, this is such a weird thing to kind of harp on. The looks of the people in this movie is so fucking weird. Okay, all of the main actors, the Little Women and Lonnie and all that. All of them look 12 years old from the beginning of the movie all the way up to when the oldest one's supposed to be past their 30s. But none of them look old enough to do any of this. All right, none of them. The funniest thing is that, of course, with this, you always have two actors playing Amy because she's the youngest. So you have the young actor and then you have the adult actor. When the adult Amy comes in, supposedly the youngest one, she's taller than all the rest of them, and she looks about 10 years older than all the rest of them. Now it goes the other way too. The guy playing Meg's husband, and I cannot remember his name. That's how important of a character he was. He looked like he was in his 40s the entire time, courting a girl in high school. So it's like they could not get the ages of any of these people right, or they couldn't get people who looked like they could be the right age at any point. It was just creepy as fuck. Ugh. On top of that, so these are all like actor problems and script problems. The direction and the editing of this thing is like amateur hour. There's no fucking establishing shots. You don't know where we are when we change to a new location. Okay, you recognize the inside of their house, but it's like everywhere else, like, where the fuck are we now? It also doesn't help that this movie does that thing where it jumps backwards and forwards in time, and sometimes when it does, it has like this lens flare effect that looks like a nuclear bomb just hit. That's, I guess, supposed to be this movie's equivalent of that sound effect from Lost, that whoosh, to kind of say, okay, we're going back in time now. But sometimes they'd have that weird lens flash, and other times they wouldn't. So sometimes they jump back and forwards in time, and you'd have no fucking clue where we were. So you didn't know what time period we were in. You didn't know where you were in time and space. It was like you really felt like you were in that movie Gravity, and you're just floating around going, please give me some moorings here. And oh my God, the direction. There is a moment in this. It is one of those, again, it's one of those laugh out loud bad moments. So when Beth dies, spoiler, fuck you. So when Beth dies, so they're at her funeral, all right? And it is pouring down rain. It is like massively raining. But it is quite clear that this rainy, sad day is actually quite a beautiful day. In fact, you couldn't have picked a nicer, sunnier day to film a rain sequence. The shadows and everything, it's so clear that it's so fucking sunny. So it just looks ridiculous because one, it looks fake, and two, if you're going with if somebody out there is going to give the justification that, well, that does happen, you get cloud bursts. It's like, so we're going with the overkill of the metaphor that it's raining all on them, Oh my God, everything about this movie. And I'm struggling. I am struggling to find anything to say anything nice about. The only thing I will say, so there's two things I can say. Like I said, one, I thought the young lady who played Beth did a decent job with such a hackneyed, cliched written character. I thought she tried to pull something out of it as best she could. I also have to give this movie a bit of credit in its casting of Laurie, which I find it weird that one of the main male characters has a female sounding name, but then again our protagonist has a male sounding name, so I guess it's a theme I'm not picking up on. But anyway, in other versions of this, he's been that character has always been cast as kind of one of these classically handsome, chisel jaw. I want to say Christian Bale played the character in the Winona Ryder version, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know why I see Christian Bale, but I remember the guy was fairly good looking. And the Laurie in this one, while not ugly, I'm not saying that. He was a little bit more round faced. He was a little bit shorter, sandier hair, so he wasn't one of these classically good looking douchebags. He was still a fucking idiot, but he was. He wasn't one of these, so I'll give it that credit. They dressed him like a fucking moron. I mean, the guy wore more plaid than a Scotsman. So yeah, I mean, this movie just reeks of incompetence. And here's the main thing. Everything else about this movie I can laugh at. Everything else I can go, ha ha ha, and I did. I laughed. Elizabeth and I were the only two people in the theater. So we were just talking and ripping the thing left, right, and sideways. So that helped. But here's the thing I got to be serious about, and this is something I have a real issue with. So we're apparently at a point in time where the only thing you can do with yet another film version of Little Women is bring it up to modern day. Okay, fine and dandy. I guess in the details, or I guess at the core of it, the story is timeless, and you can put it anywhere. You know, a lot of it's the details that kind of, you know, make it. But here's the thing: if you are going to do that, if you are going to take a character or a story out of its original time period and put it somewhere else, what the fuck does that time period shift say, or what does it mean in the greater narrative? What are you trying to say about these characters by putting it in the modern day? What are you trying to say about the story by putting it in the modern day? What does putting it in the modern day add? And the answer is a big fat fucking nothing. It added absolutely nothing to the story. It said nothing about the story. It didn't make the story more interesting. It didn't shine a new light on these characters that we hadn't seen in any of the 200 other versions of this fucking thing. It didn't put them in a new light. The addition of smartphones and laptops and Skyping didn't make for any kind of massive commentary on the material or the times we live in or anything like that. I wouldn't even say that this is a huge, I don't want to use the term feminist. I don't know if that's the right terminology. It's not even a big, you know, hooray for sisterhood, hooray for, you know, girls, you know, going out there and surviving and doing things in a man's world and all that, because none of that plays into it at all. Jo tries to make everything about that. You know, when somebody, you know, when her editors don't like her thing, of course it's because it's a patriarchy. You know, her railing against it, you know, just makes her look bad. This isn't a tale about their sisterhood holding on through difficult times and Jo excelling in a place that, you know, in a way that women haven't done before or anything like that. It adds nothing. So you do this whole gimmick of let's do Little Women in the modern day, and that gimmick adds fucking nothing. You know, that is the biggest sin of this movie. Everything else I can look at and laugh at how, you know, comically bad it is. That aspect, I think that is a problem at the core conceptual level, and it shows just the incompetence and the laziness of this movie. Because it's clear to me that nobody said, we want to set this in the modern day because it's going to say this about the movie, or it's going to do this about the movie. It doesn't. It just, what it reeks of is somebody said, hey, this hasn't been done before, and there are no royalties we really got to pay for. Let's do it. And that's not a good enough reason to do something. Okay? So, yeah, this movie, again, 2 people in the audience, and quite frankly, I think it was too many. So, let's get to this. So, final grade for Little Women. Well, I can't be generous anymore. I've tried being generous all year, and it doesn't get you anything. No, final grade for this one's a big, fat fucking F. This is atrocious. And again, the only reason to watch this is to laugh at it. It is unintentionally hilarious. And again, that's why I say the only reason that right now it hasn't shot to the top of my worst of 18 list is because at least I can laugh about this movie afterwards. So, yeah, do like apparently everyone else does. Avoid it, because if you've never read the book, it's not going to give you a good impression. And if you are a fan of the book, it's just going to piss you off. All right? Stay away from it. And so, that is that. Holy fuck. What a piece of shit this movie was. Oh, so, good thing to come out of it. Fun night at the movies with Elizabeth. Fun watching, loving. And I don't know if you can see, but we have a new member of the Drive Home Review family. Meet Zoe, the T-Rex. So I finally won something out of the claw machine. Finally got one. So, hello, Zoe. She joins Mr. Chirpy and Chewy here on the Drive Home Reviews. So thank you for watching. I hope everybody has a pleasant and fun weekend. And next week starts fall break for me. I get a week off, which is good because there's several movies I want to see. So we're going to be doing some fall breaking at the movies. So until next time, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.